All right, we're going. It is Monday, and today is the scheduled stream. And I know it's very early, but hey, you know, I am painting up Hungar's Heretic Legion guys and chilling, so we'll see what happens. As a matter of fact, let me send a link to Hungar. See if we can get him on here. If he says no, I'm going to be like, you bastard. I hope I don't have any coffee in my teeth. I drank the last cup of coffee and it had some grit in it, some grounds. So, happens. Cowboy coffee, right? This town is coming like a ghost town. All the clubs are closed down. This town coming like a ghost town. Bands won't play no more. Too much fighting on the dance floor. I've decided, and I don't know why, but I've decided to paint Hungar's heretics with Japanese uniform yellow. I mean, that's just for the cloth. Of course, the metal and everything will be painted different colors, but all the cloth is going to be Japanese yellow. They've got wrappings around the boots too. I'm going to make them just a khaki color. And then I'm going to paint their face masks probably red because they're all wearing like basically men pose, you know, demon masks. Maybe I'll paint those red. Right now, I'm doing a base color on an anointed warrior, which is basically like, the elite warriors of the average heretic unit. And I'm just going to base coat him with the Japanese yellow because I have Japanese yellow out and it's really not going to matter. This guy is super heavy armored, so I'm going to be painting a lot of metallic over this Japanese mustardy yellow, but it'll look fine. I mean, it'll look fine. If I have to, I'll put two small doses or two thin coats. Hey, Jose, how you doing, homie? It is Monday. This is the day when I stream. Actually, I stream almost every damn day, but Monday has always been for like years the day that I actually set aside and say, okay, this day I'm going to stream. Okay, so now these guys, their arms, their exposed flesh has to be painted up like it's been severely burned. And how that'll happen is I'll paint it like a really bloody, gory red, and then I'll kind of lightly dry brush it with black so that, it looks like the skin has been charred off of it.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you, sir?
Finally, I managed to miss all the streamings you had. So basically, I got distracted, or I got out of home, or something, and something happened, and I could
Well,
not
I'm glad you've been out having a good time. What's up, Buttercup? Hey, how you doing there, Bubba? What's up with you? I am painting Hungar's Heretic Legion for Trench Crusade and talking shit about games. Oh, we got a bear at least. Bear shows up. My brother don't show up though, because
Tongue bear, come on, man.
he's unreliable.
Hello.
I mean, at this point in knowing him, do you not know him? Is it like that's the question I would ask you? Is like, do you not know your brother at this point?
I'm an optimist,
Sure.
so I'm always like hoping, but yeah, we had a pretty good go around last night. That's pretty fun about the different role playing games we like.
Yeah, sorry, I had to bounce out. I had to get ready for the show with Cody.
Oh, we ended up like you bounced out. We ended the show because one, I was tired and wanted to use the bathroom, and Omanal had a game, and so yeah, you leaving didn't kill the show. It turned out everybody had stuff to do.
No, I'm glad you guys at least got to have your time.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you got to be here.
It was fun for what it was worth.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get to go into as much detail with different genres if I would like, but
Well, the sci-fi one is hard because sci-fi does not exist as a genre. Sci-fi is other genres with technology trappings. You know what I mean? And it's especially in cinema, you see that. Like other than like 2001: A Space Odyssey and maybe Solaris, there aren't a lot of sci-fi movies because most sci-fi movies bore the living shit out of people. They want an action film in space, or a fantasy film in space, or a romance in space, or a heist film in space. You know what I mean? Or a Wrath of Khan, a sub movie, a sub hunt in space.
that's a
Or
good
the monster
movie.
in the box in space.
Yeah, monster movie, horror films in space, you name it, right? So it becomes very difficult to
Here's
say
Bloodworth.
sci-fi.
Hello, DM Bloodworth. How are you,
Hey,
sir?
Bloodworth, what's
Hey,
up?
how's it going, guys?
What would you consider, Bear,
Yeah.
the Europa report to be?
What is that's that movie where they go to Europa and they go under the ice and there's monsters under the ice or something?
Yeah.
That's a horror film in space.
Yeah, it's like they go to Europa and they keep seeing like flashing lights and they can't quite figure out what's going on.
And they crash or something.
And then they try to take off, but they crash.
Yeah.
And the ship's flooding. And right before the pilot, the last one, the pilot dies, she like opens all the hatches so the ship will flood, but she turns all the cameras on so that the cameras are transmitting back. So that when that weird Cthulhu squid beast comes in and eats her, everyone back home gets to see that, yes, there's life on Europa. And it's not friendly.
Yeah, that's 100% a horror film.
Yeah, it was. The saddest part is when the American pilot, because it was a multinational task force, gets some kind of sci-fi coolant on a spacesuit, so they can't take him back in the spaceship. Because whatever this chemical is, if they brought him back in the airlock, it would immediately contaminate the whole shit and just kill everybody.
Yeah.
Like xylotene or whatever. So he basically just detethers and pushes off and floats away, because, which of course sends the Russian guy who was trying to save him into a freaking massive depression for like a month straight, where you just don't talk to anybody. I mean, it's a good movie. Nerds, Malachi. How you doing, Malachi? It's a pretty good movie, but sci-fi, you are right, because like you've got Worlds Without Number and Stars Without Number, and they're both sci-fi.
Amazingly, nobody is doing the kind of sci-fi they would derive from the private space era, because normally until today, government was the customer for aerospace industry. But now that you have private industry, you're going to have very interesting things. For example, rockets are trucks. Colonies will be houses. So basically, you have a real estate business developing, and you will have space buses and space trucks, basically going everywhere.
Space truckers.
So
we're still a
basically,
ways away from that. That's not going to happen just yet.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
Maybe
not
in
just
I
yet.
think that Space
276
Truckers is a PC
years.
game. Rated
What'd
pretty
you say,
decently,
Barbara?
actually.
Yeah, but basically, it is more like, for example, an airliner in space is more
Mhm.
likely to be the future. Maybe not the one that we will see, but it is likely to be the future if a colony managed to prosper.
Well,
So
that's the thing, though. The first step is you have to have someplace for it to go.
yeah,
Right?
exactly.
You can't have space tourism with like, and
Yeah.
there's the moon, and we're
Yeah.
going back to Earth now. Like you got to have a destination, right?
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
idea of sightseeing tourists would be very limited and not profitable enough for anybody to
See,
do that.
Futurama would disagree because they got to go to Lunar Land.
Right, but that's a destination somewhere to go.
Which
So,
was just the moon, and they had to drop off some shit.
I know.
do you know why ISS is boring? Because it is a government office.
Well,
It is full of public employees.
everything you described, Jose, is called Traveler 2300.
Really?
And
Yeah.
let's be honest, if you're going to be in Traveler 2300, or 2300 AD as it eventually got rebranded, you want to live in the French arm. Of all the arms of space you could live in, for the love of Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, pick the French arm. It's the only one that's got its shit together out of all the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of mix up there, so that like if you decide to play a Texas Ranger, you actually could be in the French arm or the American arm. Because the Texas Rangers got colony on Aurora, but they also have the colonies on whatever the Eber homeworld is. So, and Texas is an independent country in 2300. Because they got mad after World War III that the U.S. didn't help them fight back the Soviets and the Mexicans. So after they defeated the Mexican and Soviet army, they just said, screw the rest of the U.S., which was in the middle of a three-way civil war anyway. So, you know.
There's an RPG called Star Trucker.
Yeah, it's on Steam.
Sounds like one. Oh, it's a video game. It's not
It's a video game, yeah.
Fuck video games. Fucking suck.
Well, there was a movie called Star Trucker.
Yeah, if it's the thing with the video games is that if they're well done and everything, and it's most likely let me just double check its stats. It's probably transportation, space sim, automobile, space sim, sci-fi. It's basically it's a single player, so it's not.
No, blood. I feel you, bro. You don't know me well enough. I fucking hate video games.
Oh yeah, all right.
Yeah, I like Mario Kart, and I like some wrestling games, a couple of fighting games, and like some Civilization. You know what I mean? Everything else annoys the living shit out of me because of the amount of time you have to invest into it. And I just don't. I can use that time for way better pursuits. You know what I mean? So it's just a personal thing. I'm not like people love video games, enjoy yourselves, have a great time. I got excited. I thought there was a role-playing game called Star Trek.
No.
I'm like, ooh, I'm in.
I mean, well, I'm trying to think.
I guess you could say.
What was the one that they converted into a role-playing game, though? It's not Homeworld. There was one where it was literally just like a space trucker kind of thing that they eventually converted into a tabletop role-playing game. It's not Homeworld. Although Homeworld, I think, does have a TTRPG.
Yeah, I'd just say Traveler. Since 90% of the time, if you play normal Traveler,
Master of Orion?
you're just roaming around in a free trader.
Mm-hmm.
Could it be Master of Orion?
Well, maybe it is Free Trader.
But
It might be Free Trader that I was thinking of.
I'll tell you a good video game though, Bear, is Stalker.
Like the RPG?
Yeah.
It's like a post-apocalyptic.
It is basically somebody read Roadside Picnic and made a big video game. It's an
Like
open world
Stalker is a-
survival game, and the map is huge, and you're near Chernobyl and all of that.
You talking this
And-
one?
I didn't know there was a tabletop role playing game.
Yeah, this one was. This was one of the games that Mifrog uses as one of its inspirations.
Oh,
You know, so yeah, Stalker, the role playing game. Let's see, when did this come out?
well, the computer game came out 14 years ago.
Yeah, this
Oh,
one
okay.
was.
There's a survival game I have played, which is probably like the most intense survival game I ever played.
Yeah, this
ever
one.
played.
So, DM James, this is based on the novel Roadside Picnic. And
Yeah.
it's released under license from Boris Strugatsky.
Mm-hmm.
And I am looking to see when.
Okay.
when the
While he's
copyright
doing
is
that,
played.
James, I want you to picture this in your mind, okay?
Yeah.
Best fucking graphics you've ever seen in your life.
Okay.
It's played in real time.
Okay.
You only get one life. Okay. And and the open world map is like the size of Earth. And if you're able to, beyond. And it's called Real Fucking Life.
You're such a smartass.
That's why I don't want to play survival games. Real life is a survival game. Fuck.
Yeah, but real life doesn't have like an area where aliens effed everything up and caused all kinds of weird anomalies and
Doesn't it
mutations.
though? You live in that area. It's called Florida.
Well, that's the whole thing with Stalker is you go into the zone to try and recover things you can sell to make money. But you gotta watch out for other stalkers and bandits. That's where the whole term cheeky breeky comes from. Because when the bandits are going to attack you, they always yell out cheeky breeky, which can mean like 5 different things in Russian. It can be a slur, it can be 1-2, I'm on top. It can be a lot of stuff. So, you know.
Vic was lurking around.
Was he?
Yeah, it says there, look at all the reprobates online today.
Oh, he must have sent that to you like personally or something.
No, it's right here in the chat. It says 12:25, so 4 minutes ago. Look at all the reprobates online today between unscripted and DM Beelzebub's sim words.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Bloodworth
There
isn't a reprobate.
How do you know?
I have a good idea.
Yeah, well,
I'm just off from work today. It's a holiday, so
what holiday is it?
it's President's Day.
Canadian. I don't know about your non-major American holidays. President's
Well,
Day. Okay.
Once you're the 51st state, then you'll have this holiday. Just
Yeah,
think about it.
that joke never gets old. Let me tell you. We just sit around giggling about it all the time up here. All of us on Facebook are just trading the "can't wait to be the 51st state" memes.
Actually, on X, there are quite a few Canadians that are saying
The ones in
that.
Alberta. Alberta wants to be American. Alberta wants to be American more than anything now. It's really
I mean, I was pretty surprised. They were like, man.
Well, my relatives outside of Toronto, I mean, as it is, each of them have a family member that works in Buffalo just to have access to American medical.
Oh no! Listen. I'm not saying our country's in good shape. I'm not saying our country's well managed right now. What I'm saying is you guys have no fucking clue about the attitudes from coast to coast of this country, and it's not a uniform attitude.
Oh no, of
It's
course not.
If you go down to the Maritimes, you give them the right deal, they'll happily join New England. But you're going to pick up 3 states, not one. You're going to pick up Nova Scotia as its own state, New Brunswick as its own state, and PEI as its own state. Quebec will never join America in a million fucking years. They hate. Listen, Trump has managed to do the one thing no one else has done. He's managed to make French Canadians proud to be Canadian all of a sudden. It's disturbing.
When the United States was offered Quebec in, what was it, right after the War of 1812, the United States said no. The reason why was actually a religious reason. They said there were too many Catholics there.
Still are. And lots of Muslims now, too.
I don't want any part of Canada.
But anyway, Quebec would never want to join America. Quebec will be its own country before it'll ever become American. It's just the way it is. Ontario, who gives a fuck? It's Ontario. It's the worst part of Canada. It is absolutely the most culturally bankrupt, stupid part of Canada. No one outside of Ontario likes Ontario. And people who live in Ontario have to lie to themselves because they have to live there. They're like, oh, I love living here. Oh, Toronto's the best. Oh, okay. Manitoba, depends which way the wind blows. Mm-hmm. If Saskatchewan and Alberta are going, Manitoba could be talked into it. If it's just Alberta going, they'll stick with Canada. Saskatchewan will do whatever Alberta wants because Saskatchewan is married to Alberta. And British Columbia will say, fuck all y'all and make their own country, which they can do because they have the ocean and mountains protecting them and tons of natural resources for trade and a great big port. So they don't need the rest of anybody, right? So this is the reality of what it is. You can't have one state called Canada. It's never going to happen. But Jesus, I know you know that, Bloodworth, and I know James knows that. I'm pretty sure Jose knows that because Costa Ricans tend to be a little more.
Yeah. I asked a Canadian friend, what do you think about the idea of being called a gringo?
I got called gringo by a Mexican. I'm like, I'm not from America.
No, that is because I know that Canadians do not like to be called gringos.
Yeah, no, well, I don't give a fuck. Call me whatever you want. So
I thought the Mexicans called American soldiers when we kicked their ass and took over half their country. Since they couldn't speak English, but our uniforms were green, they were saying "green go home."
Yeah. Green go home,
and it became gringo,
and then it became pinchy gringo.
I also heard that about the green coat. Green coat.
I mean, the Texas National Guard has a larger army and more tanks than Mexico.
No Mexicans. That's what we used to say. That's what they used to say when I worked in the film industry. Why do you guys like shooting in Canada? You're Mexicans who speak English. That's what they used to call us.
Well, I mean,
they say that they
learned a very valuable lesson the other night.
Sorry,
what during the national anthem?
That was so classless, but that's Quebec. This is what I'm trying to get through your fucking heads. Quebec is the most savage fucking part of Canada. I live here. I grew up here. I know what it's like, man. They are savage.
It was like as soon as the puck hit the ice, it was like game on.
Oh yeah.
No, man. Everybody's just throwing blows. They had 3 fights in a minute and a half.
Mm-hmm. So when I used to work in the film industry, I was just back from Vancouver, back in Montreal. So this was about 2004. And I was working on Punisher Warzone. And the driver that came to get me to take me to set, we started talking. He goes, as I was been in Vancouver, he goes, oh, what's it like? I said, the difference between Vancouver and Quebec ultimately is at least I can give the ignorant people here shit in their own language because I speak French. I don't speak Cantonese, so I'm fucked up in Vancouver, right? That's just the way it is. And he's a French guy. And he just turns around and he goes, I tell you this, man. The only thing the English ever gave us was the manners. And when the English moved to Ontario, they took the manners with them. And I was just like, holy shit. This guy really is self-hating. But he has a point. They're not a polite people.
Question there. Yeah, that question that I asked my friend is offensive for the rest of Canadians.
Ask the question again?
The question about the gringo.
No, most of us don't even know what the fuck it means.
Okay. Perfect. No,
and Americans don't care because we've conquered Mexico 3 times.
Okay.
And pretty much everyone in Central and most of South America at least once.
Okay.
So if you call a Canadian a gringo, we're just going to go, oh, no, I'm not American, and explain the differences between America and Canada.
Okay.
It's kind of like the New Zealand-Australia thing.
It's kind of like the racial slurs against white people. White people don't care. You can literally call white people whatever you think is a negative thing for white people, and 9 times out of 10 they'll laugh and go on about their way. Because
I miss honky. I miss when they
I
called
live
us
on
honkies.
Cracker Court, and this is so funny. My medical transport called. They're like, so we'll be picking you up on Cracker Court. And I said, sir, we prefer Caucasian Court. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I started laughing. I'm like, I'm just joking with you, man. I'm just joking. It's Cracker Court. And he sounded, I don't know whether he's white or not. He sounded like a Southerner, but it was just like, that's the way the world is, like I'm going to be like Caucasian Court. Really? Get out of here.
Yeah, they
like
were.
I even posted a meme on our thing, and it was like, I got my DNA test back, and it's just a box that says assorted crackers.
Yeah, there were promises to be very entertaining in these days, especially with what Elon Musk is doing, because it is likely that people from other countries will want their own government to be audited too. So that is going to be funny.
I hope this is a chain reaction around the fucking globe, man.
Yeah, this is going to be very entertainment in the next years.
I thought you were worrying that Elon Musk was just going to go to your country and just impregnate every woman there. Because that does seem to be his goal in America.
Uh-huh.
Guy's got like 12 kids by 7 baby mamas or some shit.
Yeah, well, it means that with a few billion, he will have enough to inherit money to them, right?
Of course, but he's got so many kids, he's just naming them after letters and shit. I think the one that he had on in the news briefing is named X. It's like he's just running out of names.
Yeah, it is. It is like calling, for example, with my last name, calling a daughter La Luna. Or something like Marisol del Rocío Luna.
If I had a Mexican wife and we had a daughter, I would do everything in my power to convince her that we need to name our daughter La Llorona. just one, to hear English people try and say it, which is always funny to me. La Llorona, like that's amazing watching that one. But two, just to see how other Latinos would react to her being named La Llorona. Like, it would just be so weird.
Well, one of my nieces is named Marisol.
Marisol, yes.
Marisol?
Yeah, Marisol sounds like sea and sun in Spanish. Mar y sol.
I thought it had something to do with like Mary.
See the sky. Yeah. See this. Okay, I get it. Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Soul.
Yeah, and Mara in Latin is sea.
Sea, sea and sol and sun.
Yeah.
That's nice. So then, why is mariposa? What is posa? Mariposa. What is posa?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That is a good question. It is just like submission. Sounds like a submarine on a mission, right?
Yeah, but it's a butterfly.
Yes. Yeah, butterfly. Yes, that's correct. And the dragonfly is a libellula. Nothing to do with the word, right?
I'm sorry. Can you type that one? Because all I heard was.
I'm doing it.
Libellula. Okay, I will post.
Posa means rest.
Chat. So, Dr. Echo said, why do Albertans want to be American? Because we've been telling them that they're Canada's Texas for 50 fucking years. Libellula.
Did you hear me? Posa means rest.
Posa means rest?
Yes. Rest.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
So Mariposa would be like resting sea?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, tranquil sea, maybe? Maybe it's tranquil sea.
Or something like that. Yeah. See, all Latin, Latin names have a meaning to them. It's either a geographic location or it's a job, a profession. So like my real last name is Salati. All right. So misspelled at Ellis Island. So it either is meant to be, the ATI is man doing. All right. So if it is SELATI, A, then that means saddle, man on saddle. Or if it's SALA, that's salt, man doing salt, probably like a salt miner, which considering my family background is Sicilian, that's likely to be either or, right? So it's either a cowboy or a salt miner, one of the two.
Or Bigfoot.
Say again?
Or Bigfoot.
Or Bigfoot, yes.
I don't know. I've only had one Sicilian friend, and he was hairy as hell.
We
used to always be like, "Damn, how are you so hairy?"
Well, I'm mixed with. I'm only half Sicilian. The rest is Ukrainian, German, and Irish.
The other half is Persian.
So assorted crackers.
Say again.
Assorted crackers.
Yes, assorted crackers.
Yes.
Well,
no,
the Sicilians weren't considered white anyway, so it's like, Italians weren't considered white until
the late 20th century.
Probably like the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you talk to my Italian friends, they still don't consider themselves white.
We were never. First of all, we weren't allowed to come into this country directly until like 1963 or 66, somewhere in there. That's why we have so many on my wife's side. That's why we have so many Canadian relatives, because they couldn't come to the United States directly. They had to go to Canada first.
I think you've said something about that.
Yeah.
Once before. Yeah, because I was telling you, my family, when they moved from Russia, their actual name was like something very Russian, but at Ellis Island, they become Simonson.
Yeah.
Because it was just like the guy at Ellis Island looked at that name and was like, no.
Well, they used to have that Canadian too. Like a buddy of mine I used to work with out in Vancouver was a Chinese kid named Jason Sam from Hong Kong. And he moved here when he was like 16 with his family, or 14 or something. When they got to immigration and they were doing the paperwork, the guy at immigration looked at him and said, "You want to go ahead and pick a Canadian name, because your real name of Juejui is not going to go over very well in the schools and you're going to get beat up a lot. So maybe you want to have a Canadian name." He was like, "Oh, okay, what's your name?" The guy's like, "Well, I'm Jason." He goes, "Great, I'll be Jason." Like, that's how he did it. He just took the immigration guy's name.
Yeah. But, Bear. And now you can replace La Llorona with Libélula.
Okay, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, not doing that?
No, Libélula can stay where she is. I'm going with La Llorona.
Okay.
I like the idea of having a daughter who is the weeping woman. Okay.
Okay.
A great fucking thing.
Okay.
That's isn't that a monster?
Yes, La Llorona. The story of La Llorona is the woman who was married to one of Santa Anna's men or something like that, and then she found out that he had been cheating on her, so she went and she killed her children, drowning them in the river. And then in some versions she drowns herself, whatever. And now she wanders around all wet-haired in white robes, wailing in the night, La Llorona, the weeping woman, and she's coming to steal your babies, basically. So she's like a little bit like Lilith of Mexican folklore.
That is terrible.
Yes. But what's really funny is when you watch enough ghost hunter videos or ghost hunter compilation videos, there'll always be some guy going, "In the next video, they saw her by the river. Is she the Mexican spirit? La 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 la." Like, they can never say it because there's like fucking 5 L's in it,
Oh, man. Yep. That is.
Well, there were some female names that are obsolete by now that were very difficult, like Eudoxia, or some kind of names like that. I remember that there was a guy here in Costa Rica whose name could not be pronounced by the female employee of the registry. His name was Herculano Espichita. Very complex.
No, thank you. I already had lunch. I'm good. But you go ahead and have as much Espuchita as you want.
So it was like a complex name, and she refused to pronounce that name. I knew that lady.
I have a Mexican friend whose name is Arancha, and it's not spelt that way.
Hmm.
That's how she pronounces it. And I'm like, really? That's how you pronounce that combination of letters?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the Spanish people should have just kept Latin. Latin just sounds so much cooler.
Herculano Espicita. I like that name, Herculano. Oh my God.
Well, Hercules.
Okay, scratch everything. If I have a daughter, I'm naming her Herculana.
That's Hercules.
Herculana. Herculana, quickly, go, punch him in the mouth.
But yeah, Latin sounds badass. Spanish is just like,
Latin doesn't sound like anything because we don't know what the fucking sound of Latin is.
well,
Because the
okay.
Romans left letters everywhere, but no pronunciation guide, which is why you go to fucking Romania and you're like, how do you get that sound out of that combination of letters? What the fuck, you know? Or Hungarian or whatever, right?
In Romania, like you go and watch V, and he sounds like Mario.
I love him, man. He's the best.
But he does sound
I don't
like Mario.
understand what they're doing. Crazy, the guy. It's like, what?
Yeah. He does sound like Mario, though.
He really does sound like Mario. Pedro, Perez, Pereira,
Pobre,
Pobre,
pintor,
Pintor Portugués, Pinta Payores,
Pájaros.
Zapata.
Pájaros.
por poca plata para poder pasar por Paris.
It's a phrase that only has words starting with P.
There is literally a French sentence you can put that uses the same word 3 times, and the word has 3 different meanings.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And the sentence makes sense.
Wow.
And I believe the word is tun.
Tun.
Tun, 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 tun. And it's like, and it works out to like your uncle opened the tuna or something. It's really weird.
Wow.
It's like looking up where somebody has written something in cursive Cyrillic, and it is impossible for anyone in the universe to understand what any of the letters are. It literally just looks like somebody scribbled. It's like, what the hell is that?
All I know now is that I must first change my last name to Esposito and then have a daughter who I can name Herculana so she can be Herculana Esposito.
Esposito is a common name. You run into a lot of Espositos.
But I bet you don't run into a lot of Herculana Espositos.
No, probably not.
No. I haven't.
Now you understand why I'm single, because women who have dated me have had to listen to these conversations and go, I'm not this guy. What the fuck?
Well, when you were dating the Indian girl, you could have pitched the whole.
Oh my God. Dude,
We
I
can have
remember.
a daughter and name her Kali.
Well, no, she would never have let me name the daughter Kali. But remember, we were talking, and I said, "Listen, just one thing. You can teach her all the Indian shit you want. We have a daughter, so what I'm going to teach her the first day of school, when the mean girl comes up to her and acts like a bitch, she's going to cunt punt that twat right across the fucking hall." And Deep looks at me. She goes, "No, she'll have no friends." I went, "Oh no, she'll have all the friends." Because every girl that bitch was mean to will flock to our daughter like the savior walking through the doors. Do you understand? I'm going to teach her to be the baddest bitch on 2 legs. And that's just the way it's going to work.
Well,
Because
they don't
women,
understand violence.
I grew up with 4 sisters. Remember, I'm the youngest of a family of 5 with 4 older sisters. And women get away with the shit they get away with because they don't punch each other in the mouth. Like Bill Burr said, if I could just walk up to some big bodybuilder and slap the protein drink out of his hand and laugh about it, I would. But I don't, because I know that guy's going to punch me in the fucking mouth, you know? So we got to start teaching women to punch each other. Maybe it'll calm down the mean girl.
Teach women to punch each other. Okay, things I didn't think I'd hear today.
Hey, Janet.
Start getting, a little punchy.
Listen, I would be an amazing father, but only for girls. Boys would just be a constant source of disappointment to me.
Yeah.
I only have girls. So I've been certainly pretty happy with them. I have a nephew that's the same age as my older daughter. He's a great kid too. I'll probably be equally good with both, but I'd probably be definitely harder on a boy, than a girl, I guess. But
I,
we
there was
really
something.
lucked out with our kids.
Well, it'd be this thing. It's always going to come down to parenting, right? But I saw a movie or something one time where they were showing like, the difference between boys and girls, and it was the family hanging out together. And the guy's like, "I'm so glad I have daughters." And they're like, "Why do you say that?" And he just points to the balcony where his brother's son is there throwing mud on the stakes. Like, he's like, "That's why I'm so glad I have daughters."
I
As a
never had
father of
kids.
2 daughters, I can tell you they start out good, and the older they get, the more of a pain in the ass they are. What's up, Ironcaster?
Girls?
How you
Yeah.
doing? There's Janet.
My
You're
agent's
at the
daughter-
gym. Cool.
My agent's daughter was a super cool. Genevieve was a super cool kid, and then the hormones hit. And
Yep.
she became the kind of creature that would run into the room, fall on her ass, and giggle for 15 minutes. And you're just like, "Jen, what the fuck's wrong with you?" "I don't know." And she'd run away. And it was like, oh, God.
They get
Angry.
boy crazy, start acting up.
Fighting with her mother all the time.
Oh, yeah. Janet's at the gym, which makes me want to know how much she can bench. I mean, if it's not at least 300 pounds, what are you doing? Anyway, Ironcaster. I haven't seen Ironcaster in a minute. Good to see you. So, Bloodworth, what's your favorite fantasy role-playing game?
Nostalgia-wise, probably AD&D First Edition.
Yeah.
Something that's a little bit more current, then I would go with either Castles and Crusades or for convention play, definitely Shadow Dark.
Nice.
So I have 3 basically from 3 different time frames. I'm actually just working on putting together my new AD&D First Edition campaign, which I have several people that have never played it before. I had at least one pretty young player. I mean, he's only 14, and he might be bringing a friend along. So, love the idea of pulling people in from 5e or whatever, and having them learn what real Dungeons and Dragons is supposed to play like.
Oh, I'm sure he'll love it. I mean,
I'm actually currently prepping everything on Roll20.
Coming.
Getting all my tokens created.
And I'm not reading your Spanish, Jose. This isn't fucking Reading Rainbow.
Butterfly in the sky.
I don't know how you call Reading Rainbow in Spanish, but I'm sure it's equally cheesy. Malachi, how the fuck can you like Savage Worlds? I do not understand people who like Savage Worlds.
Savage Worlds is a good system.
Yeah,
I've played it before. I've never run it.
Every time
But,
I fucking read it, I go, "This looks amazing. This sounds like everything I want in a game." Every time I run it, I'm like, "How the fuck do you judge difficulties?" You can't, because everything's based on random fucking dice. Why do I have stats with dice numbers? Why do those exist? That makes no fucking sense. How come I'm rolling multiple dice but only picking one? And then I just fall apart and play D&D instead.
Yeah, that text that you see there is the beginning of the novelization of the story, the role-playing adventure that I had with my wife.
I'm not reading your wife and use role-playing adventures. That dirty, kinky shit. You keep that to yourself, sir. I don't know how you roll in Costa Rica, but here in Canada, we don't need to know what you and your wife do.
No, it was romantic. It didn't have anything beyond PG-13.
Yeah.
So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more like romance because she wanted a romance there in the adventure. So well, I provided that adventure, brought some interesting characters that she liked, and basically the adventure worked. By the way, I have a question for DM Bloodworth.
Yes.
What do you think about MechWarrior Destiny?
What was that?
MechWarrior Destiny.
Make Warrior Destiny? I don't know.
It's
I'm
an
not
RPG.
familiar with it.
Okay. Just wondering.
Oh, Mech Warrior.
Yeah.
The last time I
Warrior,
played
yes.
Mech Warrior was I was playing the one on Steam, the MMO. Well, it's not really an MMO. The multiplayer Mech Warrior,
Yeah,
whatever that was called.
yeah.
I forget what that was called.
There's an actual role playing book.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the role playing book.
It's basically sci-fi, except there's stompy robots. Hit the like button. I would, but I don't know where it is.
Okay. So yes, it was the adventure. The novelization was from that game. So yeah,
Yeah.
it brings sweet memories because basically it was the last adventure that I could play with her. So basically, it's interesting.
This is Hungar's
Before,
Heretic Legion, guys. I'm painting up.
wow.
Well, the thing is, though, is the red horned mat. That's not their face. That's a mask. So I'm going to have to paint their skin on the back of the head, and there's a strap. Well, I don't have to, but yeah, these guys are the guys that journeyed down the Valley of Lamentation to the gates of hell and then swore their fealty to one of the demon lords.
Can I tell you something, James?
Yes.
I'm really glad Big Vic was here today, and I thought the insights he brought to the conversation were really meaningful. And I always find that when Big Vic is part of the conversation, it's just always better. It's always
Thanks, Bear.
Oh no! Oh, you're alive, you fucking reprobate!
Yeah, he just showed up to make sure nobody's talking bad about him.
I'm actually working on my deck of many city encounters and my deck of wilderness encounters. I got a copy of my deck of many curses in from a printer, and I'm
Nice.
working on those, getting them better resolution and stuff so that I can run another Kickstarter on them.
Then
Cool.
came the day where he sneezed at his table and his players were forced to fight the Tree House of Weeping because all the cards went together.
Actually, the deck of curses comes in quite handy when you're playing with your friends and they pick up a cursed weapon or an item. You just say, roll a 4-sided die, and they roll a 4-sided die. You take one of the 4 decks out, and you hand them the deck and say, pick one card, and whatever happens, happens.
I think it was a running joke in Kinzer and Company about them fighting a gazebo because none of the idiots at the Knights of the Dinner Table knew what a gazebo was.
Yes.
So
Online.
they saw a gazebo in the woods and they attacked it. And the DM was just like, all right. You're getting Kinzer. I'll tell you what, you want to play the most complicated Western of all time? Kinzer and Company makes it. It's called Aces and Eights.
Aces and eights with the shot clock. Isn't it got the shot clock?
It's
or
got a
something?
shot clock, but not only that, when you're in the middle of the gunfight, you have to say what position your character's in. And then when somebody tries to shoot you, you take out the clear cellophane thing that has the appropriate,
Yep.
like whether you're kneeling or sideways or whatever.
Yep.
And then you try to roll and then determine where the bullet hit. And it was like they made that game obnoxiously difficult on purpose.
I kind of get the impression Kenzer and Co.'s entire publishing line was just, let's troll people. Let's just fucking troll people.
Yeah, like Hackmaster. It's like they just freaking, they're like, let's take all of the weirdest shit from AD&D and make it weirder. And then make everything in the game that way.
And any joke we made in Knights at the Dinner Table about a typo that was argued over in a strip we're putting that typo on purpose in the Hackmaster rules.
in the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those guys. And it all happened because I guess
Watsy
Dragon
fucked up.
Magazine printed a Kinzer and Company comic strip or two without asking.
So Knights of the Dinner Table was a part of a deal with TSR for Dragon Magazine. And when Watsy took over, they just started reprinting older stuff. And it's like, nope, you don't have the rights for that. You don't have the rights for that at all. That's copyright infringement. So they settled. And they got the permission to do a clone of 1E and 2E.
Yeah. And Hackmaster Basic was cool enough that it actually had art by Arrow Otis. They kind of tried to make a kind of a play on the Moldvay box set. But, yeah, because you know how all of Arrow Otis's art is kind of psychedelic. He always uses like the wildest colors and stuff. So pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. But I tried to run it and I was just like, yeah, no. Yeah, no. Nope. Not running this.
Bear, the most complicated name in Spanish that I know is Clacundiformio.
Oh my God. Like
Sounds-
that sounds like a flower that grows like
Clacundiformio.
deep in the Amazon. And if you eat it, you get to become like immortal.
There it is in the chat. Clacundiformio.
That's what I'm saying. But Facundiformio, it's like
That is correct.
you would really have to hate your kid to name him that.
Yeah, that would be a horrible name. That would be a horrible name, especially in these times,
Why?
because it is quite an obsolete name. It is like calling a daughter Eudoxia. It's an obsolete name, an ugly name.
Be a tough kid.
Yeah, it'd have to be.
A little boy named Sue action.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a name in which the kids would sue the parents.
Eudoxia. That sounds like a medical condition.
Very much.
Ask
yeah.
your doctor if
It was a name.
right for you.
Yeah. Side effects may include death. Twisted testicles.
No. You got to take it all the way. Side effects may include eudoxia.
Eudoxia.
I might get that from my Clacodiformio.
Yeah. Let your doctor know if you're allergic to eudoxia.
If you're allergic to eudoxia, pregnant, or planning to become pregnant, do not touch Clacodiformio.
Yeah. There was
If you find a broken Clacodiformio tablet, contact the Center for Disease Control immediately.
right. There was a radio show down here, and they were making fun of medications, and the thing they were saying was Damitol.
Damn it all.
Yeah, it's like, are you not feeling good? Have you just been feeling? And it like named all the things, and it's like, try Damitol. And then at the end is like, side effects may include, and it was like twisted spine, brain stem or some shit, and finally death. It's like, yeah, that'd do it.
Yeah.
Damitol. Is somebody buzzing my phone?
If you
No, it's
want some medical conditions, how about cesarea?
I don't want any medical condition.
No, cesarea is a name of woman, really.
Yeah. I
It
don't
is
need
like
any-
the female of Caesar.
Cesaria.
Cesarea.
You have
But it
cesaria.
is
You
Yeah,
feel run down, broke. Well, Cesaria might be your problem.
yeah, that's the female of Cesar.
Thinking. As a Spanish speaker, what great house would your character be a part of?
That's interesting. The Spanish speaker. I don't remember which house spoke Spanish.
Just say Carino.
Was it the Taurans? No.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Capellans.
Capellans. Oh, Capellans.
Oh, I thought we were talking about the great houses of the Landsraad, not your bullshit BattleTech stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, our bullshit BattleTech stuff stole everything from the great houses of the Landsraad.
It did indeed.
It did indeed, yeah.
Yeah, but so did Warhammer and pretty much everything else. Which is why I get so mad at Warhammer when they get litigious, because it's like the meme of the two Spider-Men pointing at each other. It's like, you stole it first, you know? And everybody knows you did. So you're going to sue this guy over something you stole from Frank Herbert. Oh, they did the Rifter? I didn't know that. But I've never really gotten into any Palladium games except for Advanced Recon. And that's
Palladium
not
Games
really a
is real
Palladium
freaking
game.
slow with getting their stuff out. I mean, I'm still waiting for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I mean, they are slow.
Well, it's like a 3-man team, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, Jose, you need to find a new hobby. Immediately.
It's like your
I
whole
used to-
language is like outdated.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
You know,
Indeed, the most elegant words are a little bit outdated
it's
in
like
this world of illiteracy.
I mean, it's, I guess, an okay language, but it's not a good language if you want to actually fight and win wars and conquer people.
No,
Which language
that's
we're
not.
talking about?
It is more like for an artistic purposes, literary purposes, more or less.
I guess that's why they call them romance languages.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
Because Germanic languages are focused on monosyllabic words, which make them much better for combat.
Yeah, English is very practical.
Yeah.
Spanish is very beautiful, in my opinion. Beautiful for art purposes, you know, or literature and this kind of thing.
Of course, if you've read, I have the Beowulf book that has, on the one page, it has modern English, and on the facing page, it has Old English.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
my
had that
goodness.
one, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
my
example,
goodness, man.
for example, for poetry, German sounds a little bit strange, like ich liebe dich.
Oh, poetry, German? It
And
sounds like
German,
you're
ich
planning to
liebe,
kill people.
ich liebe dich,
German is the language of love, as we all know.
Yeah, I mean,
ich liebe dich.
Just like Japanese is the language of peace,
right?
Russian is the language of therapy. You know?
Therapy. Well, if therapy's drinking a liter of vodka.
I just feel bad for all of those peoples because to the rest of the world, they all sound crazy and angry about everything.
You know, that's funny because the girl who played Meg, she speaks Russian.
Yeah.
Even though she's Ukrainian, she speaks Russian. And she said she always felt weird when she'd be out with her dad at lunch because they're talking to each other. Okay. They're talking to each other, and it's like everyone around them is looking at them like they're in the middle of a big argument, but they're just speaking Russian.
Oh, dude, it was.
But English speakers are like, "Oh shit, what's going on over here?"
Yeah,
You know?
dude, when I was in Vancouver on the bus, I'd be like 4 old Chinese ladies sitting there. I don't know if they're entertaining each other, they're about to have a fucking fight, or someone's dying because everything has been. And you're like, what the fuck is happening over here? It's a language where inflection is all volume based, right?
Tony of internet fame even makes fun of that shit because there's
Hey,
some
Jose,
shit-
Jose, if
but,
you're gonna punch your keyboard, Jose, mute your microphone, please.
no, that's could be Vic doing that too. He
No,
beats
that's
the
Jose. I'm
shit
watching
out
the
of
thing
his
going. He's
Um,
like, pat, pat,
Oh,
pat,
sorry.
But,
I forgot that
Listen, I
I
don't
was
know why
not
you're so
muted.
angry at your keyboard, man, but come on.
No, it is like one of those keywords for gamers.
Yeah,
So it's
that make noise. Yeah.
big noise. Yeah, sorry.
Hello, good brother.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so
you're saying
basically,
about Meg, what were you saying there, James?
There's some girl and she's like, how hard is it to learn Cantonese or some shit? And then it goes over to Tony, the Chinese guy that's always trying to sell LED lights. And he says like the same word 5 times, but every time he says it, it means 5 totally different things. He's like, Ma could mean mama. Ma could also mean. It's like, no wonder, because apparently it's like, if you say a word like ma, however long and however you intone it can add an entirely different meaning to this word.
And one of the intonations is volume.
Yeah, so it was like, wow. No wonder, though. Have you ever seen their alphabet? Of course you have.
yes.
Can you imagine instead of learning letters and then learning to spell, you just got to learn whole freaking words? Because that's how their alphabet works. They have a character, and the character means a thing.
Yeah,
And then they might have multiple characters that get added together to mean a thing.
like man and star is astronaut or something like that, I recall.
Apparently, a train is called a smoking rooster. Mainly
Smoking rooster.
because it makes a noise like a rooster and it smokes.
Whoa.
And fried chicken anus, which apparently is something they love to eat, is called fried house of poop.
Whoa.
Like the literal translation is the fried house of poop. I mean, it is just like
It's crazy, huh?
somebody invented it.
Yeah.
I think it was the first sovereign emperor of all of China when he united the kingdoms and destroyed Zhao and whatever the other one was, and then
so
unified
Wei?
the language. And then they made a movie about it, and Jet Li gets killed. They shoot him so full of arrows that like it's crazy style. But Turtles Kickstarter, from the same people who never delivered the Robotech Kickstarter. Shadow. Showing up just to crush people's dreams. Well, apparently, if you want to get the Stalker RPG, unless you want to go on eBay to find it, you just have to get the PDF.
I supported the Battletech Kickstarter, and fortunately, it arrived.
Oh, we all
I
know
know.
when your camera's on, we can see the million boxes. behind
Sorry,
it.
never changing subject.
Yeah, I mean,
Sorry,
like
Bear. Sorry,
the
Bear.
whole shelf behind you is nothing but Valtech boxes.
No, you guys started talking about shit I don't care about, Jose, so I just tuned out. You're good, man.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, a game that like Jose was describing for sci-fi, that's definitely just Traveler 2300.
Sounds
I mean,
awesome.
It's near future. It uses, for the most part, actual physics for everything. The only thing that's fantastical about it is the aliens and faster than light travel. And Earth is not like this one united, place. It's balkanized, and the world power on Earth is France. And that, of course, plays off of Twilight 2000. Because in Twilight 2000, when the whole world was getting nuked and shit, the French sealed their borders, would not allow any refugees in, and basically would shoot anyone trying to sneak into France. As a result, they didn't catch the nukes quite as hardcore as everyone else did. So when the last war was over, they recovered really quick. And that allowed them to just, dominate. It took America like another 100 years to figure out their three-way civil war. So Canada did okay. I don't think Canada got nuked at all. I think Canada pretty much got ignored throughout the whole Twilight War.
It makes no sense because we actually have multiple targets. When the Soviet Union target book came out, there were like 10 or 15 targets in Canada, man.
Well, good for you guys. You're
There were like 10 or 15 targets in New York.
you're making it.
No.
You're making
Again,
it.
all of our targets, you take out, if you fired all 15 targets that they had, I'm saying 15 is a number, I don't remember how many it was, and they all got struck, the entire population of Canada is mostly dead now. Because that's where the targets were, right next to our population zones, right? So where I grew up in eastern Quebec was out in the fucking boonies, and there was a target less than 100 miles away from us. Canadian Forces Base Gagetown. Because Gagetown can land bombers.
Well,
So you got
in 2300, Canada is known as like one of the, like, they're really good at medical technology and stuff like that. But they're a tier 3 country at best, so they're not a powerful country at all. But they do a lot of biotech and stuff like that. So, and I think Quebec is independent.
Of course, because every American game writer makes Quebec independent. It's like the thing to do.
Yeah, but they made France the world power.
Well, there are some people in your country who remember that you have a country because of Lafayette in France.
We love Lafayette. There's statues of him up in New York and streets and stuff too, all over the place. Lafayette only made one mistake in his life, and that is he went back to France. He should have kept his ass here. He might have become a president, but instead he went back there and they beheaded him.
Robespierre and his nonsense.
Stupid French. Yeah, the time of terrors, which is why when people talk so much shit about Napoleon, and it's like, he did kind of put an end to the reign of terror, though. I mean, yeah, he started a bunch of wars, but he kind of put an end to just people being randomly guillotined in the middle of the street, So give him his due, Hey, Squirrel. I'm still waiting. That reminds me of Pink Floyd song. That bass line. Yeah. Pink Floyd.
Okay, I got to show you how fucked up the snowstorm was, James.
Okay.
Hang on, I'm sharing a tab with you.
Okay.
I'm going to reload it. Let me know when you're ready to go, and I will start it. Okay, This is snow removal last night. Someone didn't move their car after being warned by street, they tell you to move your fucking car, it's getting towed. Well, this guy didn't have time to wait for the snow removal.
He gets what he deserved.
Look at that.
Okay.
That's his car being pushed with the snow that he was in. And you know what? Good. Fuck that guy.
I have seen memes where, like, FDNY, somebody parked in front of a hydrant and FDNY cracked the windows out of the car and just ran the supply line from the hydrant through the car to the truck.
They're lucky if that's all they do.
I know a guy who
I've seen them tear the door off, just out of spite to tear the doors off.
I know a guy who drove a semi into New York City, illegally parked car. The officer said, "Run it over," and the guy did it with a semi truck.
Yeah, no, they don't play around with that stuff. You block a hydrant, they'll use the jaws of life on the vehicle and tear the thing in half, just in spite of it, because you have no recourse. You can't sue them for damages. You can't do anything, and if they get pissed off enough, they will definitely destroy your car.
Good for them.
Yeah.
And they are some of the highest trained guys for firefighting, so it probably wouldn't even take them very long.
I saw a video of them basically smashing the window as they're trying to pass the hose through.
Oh yeah,
And then accidentally the hose turned on while it was inside the guy's car. Oops. You know?
Well, a valuable lesson was learned.
You would think, eh?
You would hope. I mean, my pops, the whole time he lived in Queens, he never even knew how to drive. He didn't learn how to drive until he moved to the South.
Yeah, people who drive in New York City, I don't get them. Like, I don't understand them. Like, what are you doing? Why would you want to own a car in this fucking city?
Well, for one thing, where he lived, which was just across the main drag from Jamaica.
You want to call earlier?
Huh?
No, I was talking. I'm going to step away. You guys all have a great one.
Take care, man.
Take care, man.
Take
But
care.
it costs more money to put a car in a garage than like rent. Because, I mean, you know, you're probably not going to find anywhere near your house to park a car. So people actually rent garages, and it's like so expensive, you know. And you know, in New York, like a flat, we're talking a 1-room flat can cost like $2-3 grand, you know, depending on where it is. You know, if it's in a crappy neighborhood, it might be a little cheaper, but you know, which is why they all sell their houses in like Long Island for millions of dollars and come down here and buy everything up, because they can do that. Because like my Uncle Herbie's house in Long Island was on a postage stamp sized lot and was like 900 square feet, and he sold it for like over $1 million, because it's just how it is in New York. And that's why I'll never live in New York, because that's crazy. But some people feel like it's the best place in the world to live, and they don't want to live anywhere else. Probably like all those people in Toledo. They probably all feel like that, you know? They're all like, we live in Toledo, and like everyone else in Canada is just a hick or a redneck or something. We don't care about them. You know what's kind of weird?
What?
That these guys, for some reason, have some sort of demonic fetus hanging off their belt. And it's like, okay, is that some kind of weapon or something? Like, what are you supposed to do with that? And I mean, it's alive. It's definitely alive. Maybe it's an unholy relic or something. Because in the game, you can give units unholy relics, and then you can burn them once to like re-roll a die or something. But you see, like on his belt there.
Looks cool, man.
Yeah, these guys are, like I said, completely irredeemable. They've absolutely sold out to the forces of hell. There's no saving them. And yeah. I mean, with the Minpo masks on and the Japanese uniforms, I mean, they almost look like, they could be Japanese soldiers, except like, really effed up Japanese soldiers, but whatever. I keep waiting for somebody to make a role-playing game set in this setting, man. Or maybe I'll get BRP and make my own. This would be an interesting game to play a role-playing game in. You know what I mean? Fighting in the trenches against monsters. That'd be cool. But yeah, 2300, Jose, which is takes place during the year 2300 AD. Other than the faster than light travel, the stutter warp, and the aliens, everything in it is compliant with what our understanding of physics.
Yeah.
And so each of the major powers that have managed to put together a space program, they've started, jumping from one star to the next to make colonies, and they call those arms. And the French arm is the biggest, but you've got conglomerations too, like the US, Australia, and Texas. A lot of times they'll settle the same planet because they like each other, and the Chinese a lot of times will settle worlds with the Central Asian Republic, which is basically what used to be Siberia. And Russia will settle planets with their allies. So when you make a character in this sci-fi game, instead of saying I'm a human, because you have to be human, you also have to pick like from where.
Okay.
Like I'm a human from America and I want to be in the army. Oh wait, it didn't work out, so now I'm a bum. And then I'm going to try to leave the planet and get a job with maybe the French space program and go to Aurora to do something. So it's kind of like Aliens, like the movie Aliens in setting and tone, pretty much.
And where do you get the rule book?
The rules, PDFs, hell,
PDF.
Omen House said they recently had a PDF Humble bundle that had like every single book for like cheap.
Okay.
When it very first come out a couple of years ago, that shit was expensive.
Oh, yeah, because I like the smell of paper.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But do you like the smell of paper enough to pay $100 for a box set?
Yeah, that's
not
correct.
Including the rule book, which you will need.
Yeah.
Because you have to have the standard Mongoose second edition core rule book to play 2300. And that's a box set that was going for like $99.
I would rather go find the
original
300 online and buy that.
You can find it on Drive-Thru RPG. You can find the original under Far Future Enterprises, I think. I guess Far Future Enterprises kept the rights to the original.
I just want the Traveler 2300 Mankind Discovers the Stars box set.
Yeah, it's a good box set. In that one, it's like not the Traveler rules. It uses die 10s. And
it's its own rule set. It's really good.
It's a good rule set. And when you pick a human, you pick whether you're like tall and skinny, average, or short and stocky. So endomorph or exomorph. And that can have some.
Hey, James.
Yes, sir.
$30 American on eBay.
For
the box set with the books and the map, the star map.
Well, nice.
Here, I'll give you the link in private.
Well, I mean, I already own it, unfortunately, because I bought
then
it.
Jose can maybe look at it. I don't fucking know. I'm just trying to be helpful. Jesus.
You are helpful.
Crazy people I've talked to on the
Oh,
internet.
look at that. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Yep. That's the old one. Look at that star map, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember the first time I looked at that star map, I was like, that is so cool. I mean, it's not necessarily super realistic, but they did their best to try and make it as realistic as they possibly could. So, you know.
Condition
Send
good.
me the link there. Let me see. See, now Shadow's gonna snatch it up.
Oh, look at this.
But yeah, the new one was very expensive, and the only reason I ended up getting it is because I found it like a deal where you could get like multiple things in a bundle and save some money. But why they chose to make it that expensive, I guess because they're assholes. Because it was like, I mean, is it a nice box set? It is a very nice box set.
It is the deluxification of things.
But it was just like, but why is it so expensive?
Yeah, the typical deluxification of things that you're seeing in games.
I think maybe it's just because it's Irish.
Could it be?
Like the company that makes it's in Ireland, so that could have something to do with it. Regardless, though, yeah. The original was really good. The new one is also really good. One thing that's cool about the new one is that the Basic Expert did quite a bit of the art in the new one. So, like Ships of the Frontier and stuff like that. He did a lot of the art. So, that's cool. Well, then. I think that's all the flesh tone. Planet of the Apes. Love the movies, old and new. There's a Kickstarter? I don't want to be an orangutan. Just be like, I might not be the smartest of all the apes, or the strongest of all the apes, but I am the smartest.
Yeah, we are.
Because that was the whole thing. Forget Mongoose Pop. Yeah, well, too late for me to forget it. I already got it. So it is what it is. Now I got to paint the breastplate. Some of these guys are actually wearing breastplates. So there's my puppy. It looks like the wife is taking the puppy for a walk.
You want to go with us?
Why are you even going?
Because he loves it and it's lunchtime.
Oh, you're taking for lunchtime?
It's beautiful out today.
Is it?
Yeah, nice and cool. Come here, Ben. And he loves this so much.
Yeah, somebody did something wrong, but I don't know if I care.
What was the something wrong?
I got a big box today, right? Because I ordered some pink insulation foam.
Yeah.
I thought it was pink insulation foam. No, it's 4 more of those big ass crates.
Only order it once?
I'm pretty sure I only ordered it once, and then when I went online, it said that the pink foam had been delivered.
Will you want to walk with us to discuss it or not?
No, but I will bitch about it when you get back. It's like, really? I mean, I wanted pink insulation foam. But then again, I mean, some 108 quart syllable Cambros are pretty badass too. So I don't know. There we go.
Yeah, that game looks interesting. The Traveler game.
Mm-hmm. What the alien, the main bad guy alien, is so interesting because their whole deal is they have an endocrine system that works like ours, except instead of the adrenaline causing you to get like faster and stronger for a brief period of time, the adrenaline makes them get smart. So when you typically see one of these guys, they're not very bright. You know what I mean? They're just wandering around, not being super bright. But then if you take a shot at them, the second that they realize they're in danger, their system kicks off, and all of a sudden they turn into freaking combat geniuses.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. And they refer to humans as meat people. And they basically look like giant mutant cockroaches that walk on their hind legs. And it even says other funny stuff, like all of the Kafer equipment is designed basically to be used by really stupid people. So it's all designed not to break because they're so dumb that, like, if you gave them equipment that wasn't super simple, they just couldn't use it. However, the more that they face combat, the smarter they get and the longer they stay smart. You know, it's like every time they get smart, they never go back to quite as dumb as they were. So if you have a Kafer that's saw a lot of combat, they can be super geniuses all the time. But if they haven't, then they're basically dumb as bricks. So just an interesting kind of concept, you know?
Yeah, as soon as I have the budget, I will be considering that game.
Yeah.
What is Squirrel? Backed it? Can't wait to see what it's like. It says Shadow and Sun. Is that a game? Kickstarter, perhaps?
Shadow and Sun?
Shadow and Sun is the hardest game you'll ever play.
Yeah.
No, that's because Shadow and Sun says that backed it. Squirrel can't wait to see what it's like. Is
So
that a game?
Squirrel mentioned some game.
Plus, Shadow said he had backed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Robotech or something. He's still waiting on that.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, I mean, you know, there's like 2 guys working at that company.
So they can make mistakes.
Well, you would hope they wouldn't, but yeah, there's literally like 2 guys there.
Wow.
It's kind of like when I
Planet of
did
the Apes.
when I went all in on the Talislanta Ultimate Edition. It's like literally there's like a team of 6 people
Wow.
that were involved with the making of that. Of course, since they had, you know, 20 plus years of other stuff to draw on, it wasn't that big of a deal for them. They were able to get it done pretty well. So, yeah. My game group is dying to play it. So, Yep.
Well, gents, I gotta go.
Alrighty, homie.
There are females who want to talk to me, and no offense, I'd rather talk to women than you fuckers.
You're just a slut bear.
I am. I
Stab.
am. Guilty.
Okay.
Happily. And you guys be good. I'll see you all later.
See you
Okay.
later.
See you later. Bye.
Oh, and remember, Jose, no lo sé, soy turista, por favor.
Está bien. Está bien.
I'm a tourist.
A tourist, please do not steal my organs, he says.
Yeah.
Yeah, here the Kickstarter of BattleTech already arrived, fortunately, but it sucks because the Visigoth that was supposed to come with my Kickstarter, none of them arrived. They were supposed to be a reward, and they should be 4 of them, and they cost $70 each.
What?
And none of them arrived. Yeah, $70 in Amazon. And I say,
What in the
what?
hell kind of thing is that?
Visigoth, the fighter.
Not worth it. Not worth
No,
$70.
not worth it. Yeah, and not worth it. So
Because
basically,
I bought like 4 of the Shilones, but they were like cheap.
yeah, but the Visigoth for $70 in Amazon, no, thank you.
Well,
Probably
you know, I
scalpers.
mean, if it was a limited edition thing, I mean, the people on Amazon are gonna
Yeah, well, I don't know.
hold you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
I am still curious about why all of these guys are carrying little fetuses on their waist, like attached to the belt. Like, is that little demon baby like help them out in some way? I need to know. My wife put the dog in his little shirt. He's got like a little harness / shirt looking thing. He gets so excited to go walk because he loves to pee on things that you don't know he's peed on before.
Wow. So basically marking the territory. It is the same syndrome of Star Wars. They want to be the Star Wars like a dog when they get the IP. It is it is like, for example, this is something when BattleTech was sold, they also tried to pee on BattleTech to leave their mark and so on. So basically, it is the same that happened with Star Wars. They bought the Star Wars and they pee on it to mark the territory.
They did something to it. I think peeing it would be a nice thing compared to what they actually did to it.
Yeah.
They pretty much gave it the Cleveland steamer.
Yeah, they wanted to put their mark on George Lucas lore.
Yep.
And this is why my money is going to BattleTech right now, not Star Wars.
Well, I mean, yeah, if you're doing it for that reason, I mean, if I don't know if it's still on Amazon. Let me look.
The Visigoth?
No.
No.
You used to be able to get the West End Games Star Wars starter set on Amazon for pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm. If you find it, post the link.
So the pink phone came in and the other. That's so weird.
The best time he peed and pooped.
Well, that's good. Okay, so I'm not seeing it anymore, but
No.
yeah, there for a minute It was like the company that puts the new Star Wars out that sucks. They
Mhm.
put the original out in a slipcase. And the original Dice 6 Star Wars that was done by West End Games
Mhm.
is, if you talk to anybody, pretty much everybody will tell you it's one of the best games ever made.
Mm.
Now, the good news is if you go online and you look around, there's a web page where you can just download all of it on PDF for free.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a great game. You can like make your Han Solo type character or your
Wow.
Wookiee or whatever, and
I
have
wonder.
the Millennium Falcon and travel around and get involved in the rebellion if you want or not.
Is there a way to make that in DCC?
You would just have to say, "Hey, I'm going to make this in DCC," and then do it.
Okay, no, that's because I
I
have
mean, you
been
can make
looking.
any setting work for just about any role playing game if you really want
Okay, okay, sounds good.
it.
Because
You just
I
to work.
saw some videos about making the characters from Arcane for Dungeons and Dragons. So I wondered if characters from Star Wars could work on DCC too. So I was just wondering.
I'm sure they could. I mean, Han Solo would be. I don't know what Han Solo would be.
A thief?
Well, I mean, he was a smuggler, true, but he was also a soldier.
Oh, soldier, yes.
I mean, he was in the Imperial Navy. Um,
So he knows the traits.
well, that's why he's so good at piloting ships.
Oh,
Oh, damn
that's
it.
because I didn't watch the Solo movie.
Oh, this, I think, is from the original stuff.
The original mythology. Okay.
Yeah, we're talking original books, Jose.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, from the EU and this kind of thing.
Anything before Disney took over Lucas is the good stuff.
Mm. Yeah, I remember the EU. Oh, look at this. James got disconnected.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Stream.
Every now and then, my computer just freaks out and kicks me or something, or maybe it's just my internet sucks. I don't know.
Yeah, you're frozen?
Yeah, it does look like I'm frozen.
Frozen
you
in
hear-
time. I have that book for DCC. Just kidding. Don't worry. Bad joke.
There's a DCC book out there that's like named after a Black Sabbath album.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
And does it have the soundtrack included?
No, but it's a DCC adventure that's
Yeah, it should include it. But yeah, it's just kidding, man.
it's definitely my favorite DCC adventure, the one that I ran a lot and liked, is Curse of the Barbarian Lords or
Curse
something.
of the Barbarian. Okay, I will keep it in mind in case I find it.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that one.
Yeah, I ordered Chaos Rising, which is told to be a good introductory adventure, so that I could have it, because I found, and yeah, so basically that's on its way to home.
Cool.
What was of the Barbarian?
It's like Curse of the Ancient
Curse.
Kings or something like that.
Curse of the Ancient.
Something like that.
Okay. So I will keep it in mind. Curse of the Ancient. Okay.
It's the one I told you about where there's like the demon wolf that can only be killed by a certain weapon, and
Mm,
so the characters have to go into this dungeon
to find a weapon.
to find the weapon, and of course the
Yeah.
dungeon's full of traps and all kinds of stuff that'll kill them if they're not careful. And it has a very old school AD&D feel to it, you know.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll keep that in. Let me see if I can find it.
And even if you do kill the beast, it comes back like after a couple weeks and goes on a murder spree again. So
No, it is not in Amazon. Cannot find it there.
well, I could be giving you the wrong name too.
Okay,
Let me
find the name.
find the actual name. I've got a lot of my Dread Gods of Owl.
So you can post. You can post in the chat.
Chaos Rising, Doom of the Savage Kings.
Doom of the Savage Kings. Okay, Doom of the Savage. Oh yeah, I found it. Okay, adding this to the not currently unavailable. Well, it was too good to be true. Well, anyway, adding this to the wish list. Okay, for later.
I can't believe it's not. Well, then again, for a while, the Sellers on the Sunless Sea was unavailable for quite a while.
Yeah, that's
They brought it
because
back, and
that is
so I
because
guess it just depends. Like, if a printing sells out, they're just like, well, it's sold out for a while.
yeah, it is just like BattleTech Alpha Strike rulebook. People are having problems to find it because there hasn't been a reprint, and it got sold out. So, and organizing another reprint is going to take a few months. So, you know.
See, I'm lucky. I have the original Alpha Strike book,
Mhm.
the Alpha Strike Commander's
Edition.
Companion,
Uh,
and then I've got the Alpha Strike box set
yeah.
that came out with like all the buildings and stuff in it.
Mhm. And there is another pack with counters.
Mm.
So just in case you want to have them, and it has a river, and it has some forest, it has some more buildings, and it has very interesting things that I think that you're going to like.
Mm.
Also, there is another pack that is called Reinforcements. It has standees for all the mechs from the 2020 Kickstarter, and also it has some tokens for the MASH, for the artillery, for so basically containers, like and many other things. So I think that you may like it. But it is pure tokens, nothing pure cardboard. The reinforcements box, yeah. So, but I think that you would enjoy it.
Mm.
Just in case.
Probably 3050 though.
3050. Yeah, it has some 3050 max, but also has the inner sphere ones.
That's what I didn't like about the new Alpha Strike box set is it came with like a plan.
Plans. Oh, okay. Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, it had some inner sphere mechs too, but they were all like, freaking 3050 for the most part.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, really, get out of here.
Yeah, the counters are just counters. So basically, it is like landscape, basically.
Well, that's good.
So you will enjoy it, I think.
Yeah. When Hungar's down and we play, we usually just play on a War Games table.
Mm. Yeah, because
Like I have actual trees and hills.
mhm, like a diorama.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. The thing why I didn't buy the Alpha Strike box is because I am capable of making my own buildings. I know how to draw them. I know how to sculpt them. Let
Right.
me see if I can find the one the things
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
can
I
make.
could 3D print them if I really wanted to.
I no, I made some to make on cardboard. Let me see if I can find them. Doo, 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 doo.
The fact that my screen is froze.
Cutouts. Okay, I found the
Very
cutouts.
annoying.
Posting in the private chat. Okay, because posting also to see and
Okay.
okay, right there. Not sure if it is going to show up for people. No, it didn't show up. Sorry. Okay, so those items there, those cutouts, were made by me.
Okay.
All those cutouts. So just in case, you can print them and have them for your Alpha Strike games.
Cool.
Mhm. Sorry
Yeah.
about
If
the
I were
people who are
super
watching.
serious about it, I've got STLs
Oh, okay.
that I could. Oh, that's a
Print.
cool ship, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the ship. Yeah. See, we don't play on hexes. We even when we play classic Baltec, we don't use
Hmm.
hexes.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
use
Well.
more of like the Destiny system where
Hmm.
you measure everything in inches and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, I made hexes for everything, including MechWarrior Destiny and the page 2 of that link.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there are some hex maps, the internal side, the different floors for a Union class dropship, and basically you have for personal combat. So well, you have hexes. It is supposed to be areas, but I made it as a hex. So I don't know.
Yeah, I've got an STL for a Union class dropship.
Wow,
It's no, it's a map size one, so
wow.
it's not super big.
Oh,
If I
looks
mean, if I wanted the big one, I'd probably just go on Etsy and see if there's anybody there uh, printing and selling them, because that would be something you'd really want somebody with like a filament printer to do,
mhm.
because that's just,
Yeah,
you
too
know,
detailed. Yeah, it's something.
it's just too big. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're doing like an actual mech scale
Uh-huh.
Union or Confederate class dropship, that
Yeah,
thing's almost as big as a volleyball.
yeah.
You know,
That should be cool. You know.
I've seen people who have them, but
Wow.
a long, long time ago, there was a company that would they made them out of resin, like the kind that you pour into a mold.
Wow.
So yeah,
Amazing.
you could get them, but they were like so expensive.
Okay.
So I never got it. I never got one, but
Well, yeah, with a limited budget, the most that I could do is to save for a year for the 2010 Millennium Falcon. You remember from Hasbro?
hmm
The big one, the 2.5 feet long Millennium Falcon?
yeah, I had it
Yeah.
when I was a kid. I buried it in my yard somewhere.
Yeah. No, it was a small one. The one that I'm talking has a weight of 5 kilograms.
Oh, then
And
yeah, it's
yeah,
the
that's the
one I
minimum
had was the plastic one that you could
plastic.
take the back off of
Hmm. Yeah,
and see
this
the
one
inside.
is limit just like that, but bigger.
Well, okay,
Yeah, so that's. I do not show it because it's heavy.
right.
Yeah, and it
No,
is
I'll
in
stick
another
to
room.
my black and yellow, whatever.
Okay.
I still haven't figured out a name for my
The
starship.
Bumblebee.
Bumblebee wouldn't be a bad name, but
Or the Hornet or the Wasp.
Yellow Jacket,
There you go.
because I know we hate them motherfuckers. They make their nests in the ground, and when you're walking around through the hollers at the, in the valley there, if you're not careful, you'll fall through into one of their nests, like your foot will. Them little bastards will eat you up. I mean, if you're smart, you'll see them way before that happens. But they're just angry creatures,
So you're trying to name a ship?
I have a ship. I haven't given her a name yet.
Okay. How about something? Think about the most epic, cool thing that comes to your mind, and think about the closest in mythology.
I mean, I could name it the Rodinia.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, use the
There
rule
is
of
no
cool.
English translation for that word.
Yeah, use the rule of cool, and that makes everything cool.
Right.
Yeah, it is the same rule that applies to BattleTech. BattleTech robots are impractical, but they use the rule of cool and they make a cool game.
Right. But, yep, Rodinia actually doesn't translate into any language.
There was a Rodinia supercontinent in the past, I remember.
Yeah, it's Russian for the place you feel most at home.
Yeah, it was before
Osa.
Pangea. Before Pangea,
I could
there
name it
was
the Suka
the Suka
Bliat.
Bliat. What does it
Yeah,
mean?
that's slutty ass whore. Suka Bliat.
Okay.
I could name it the penis. Boya.
Well, that would be up to you.
Yeah, that would be a weird name for a starship, right?
Yeah, it is like in Brazil, do not say the word pinto. Because
Pinto?
that's pinto, yes, that's a bad word.
So no pinto beans.
No pinto beans. Also, there was a soccer coach in Costa Rica, Jorge Luis Pinto. So probably that must have been bringing more than one smile to Brazilian girls.
Because his name was
Yeah, the equivalent of man, to say the least. Yeah. There are words in Spanish that mean something in one place and mean something else in another place. For example, the word papaya is a fruit in Costa Rica, and if you go to Cuba, it is going to be a very bad word, for example. Yeah. Or the word for shell in Costa Rica, you go to Argentina, and that's another bad word if you translate to Spanish.
And in America, green papaya paste is used as a meat tenderizer.
Yeah, and indeed, the papaya is a fruit. It is they call it fruta bomba in Cuba. Yeah, so there are many names. So when you go, so you thought that you learned Spanish, and you go to one place, and it ends up that you do not know Spanish because you need to learn everything again. Yes, I remember.
Well, I'm thinking.
Yes,
Since it's been about 2 hours and my screen is frozen.
Yeah, it looks
might
like
be time to go ahead and end this.
Okay.
Okay, James.
I'll catch you
See
guys
ya.
later.
Okay.
See
Awesome.
ya. Okay, bye.